Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the explainer videos by Minespider. Previously, we have covered the EU battery regulation in more details, and today we will speak about something more specific, the battery passports or a new market alternative, which is the open battery passport by Minespider. So what is the battery passport according to the EU battery regulation and what data or details it should contain? Basically, the battery passport is a digital record that contains data about the whole life cycle of a battery. This information comes divided in two segments or two parts. The first of it is the battery model information, and the second one, the data that comes out of the usage of the battery, or the more dynamic set of data. When we're speaking generally on what this battery passport should contain, then this would include anything coming from the battery information requirements, meaning the manufacturing details, the sustainability and due diligence data, the carbon footprint, as well as the technical and performance parameters of a battery. When it comes to the dynamic set of data, this will include the data coming from the actual usage of the battery. The idea behind this is that there would be more or better consolidated information decision-making for companies that are active in the battery value chain. What this would mean is, for example, for batteries at the end of life, such as repurposers, remanufacturers, or recyclers, all this information will be available just via a scan on a QR code, and depending on the data sharing options for the battery passport, which should be either public or private, different parties can have different access to this information. Overall, the idea is to create a more competitive industry-level field that would also allow for benchmarking of suppliers or battery producers throughout the course of the implementation of the regulation. Which companies have to implement the battery passports and by when? So companies that place batteries on the EU market, such as the battery producers or manufacturers, the importers or distributors, are the ones which are directly affected by the EU battery regulation. They are directly concerned, and as such, they will have the obligation to produce or generate this battery passport. The obligation for the battery passport implementation is set for 42 months after the entry of force of the proposal EU battery regulation, which, according to the timeline that is known so far, should make it up until the end of 2026 or the start of 2027 as a mandatory requirement for the implementation of battery passports. What this means is that companies who are directly subject to these battery passport requirements, meaning batteries that come into the categories of electric vehicles, LMT, or industrial batteries with storage above 2 kilowatts per hour, would need to have the battery passports and attach their QR codes on the actual battery within the timeline that we just mentioned. What is the state of development of the battery passports? There are multiple consortiums or alliances working on the development of battery passports or fragments of it in the form of proof of concepts, but so far an official, fully compliant battery passport version has not been released. The Minespider Open Battery Passport will be the first fully compliant version of a battery passport available on a blockchain-based platform, which will encompass all of the EU battery required details. What is the difference between the Open Battery Passport and the alternatives? The main difference comes from the fact that the Open Battery Passport will be the first fully released battery passport version, and it will be completely free of charge for any of the users. So we can categorize the differences in 2 points, the open access and the business model details. What this would mean is that in terms of cost, the Open Battery Passport will be free forever for the abilities for companies to create an unlimited number of battery passports and integration or using the existing API, unlike other potential battery passport companies who might have different business models, use subscription periods, or usage fee per the issuing of battery passport. The other part is the early access. At this period, with the launch of the Open Battery Passport, we are accepting 100 companies to check and use the beta version of the Open Battery Passport, while there is currently no other battery passport provider giving the same ability. And of course, we have the open sourcing. At Minespider, we plan to open source the software in early 2024, which is the first initiative of this kind so far. At this point, you're probably wondering how can your company implement the Open Battery Passport? Well, companies can sign up on our website, www.openbatterypassport.com, and our team will connect with them and follow the few steps we have set up in order to align an introduction call, evaluate your battery passport use case, and arrange for a proper setup and onboarding. Our version 2 prototype will be fully released in the coming period, but in the meantime, we have our version 1 fully functional and we can enable onboarding for companies on that one. What is the price for using the Open Battery Passport? The Open Battery Passport actually comes completely for free. There is no charge for it. You can create an unlimited number of battery passports and make use of our API to either explore integration with legacy softwares or see how the data can feed in automatically in the battery passport version. As such, our business model is concepted in a way that the technology and the Open Battery Passport solution itself is for free, but any supporting services in the form of consulting, custom development, or assessments would be subject to fees. In that sense, there is no fee per issued battery passport, there are no subscription yearly fees, and the whole solution for the sole creation of the battery passports is completely free of charge.